Okay, everybody. I'm still in the hospital, but I could not let this moment go by without sharing this testimony that I have of what's happening, of what God is just doing. So, in this year of getting connected, being connected, staying connected, it's so important for me. I don't know about anybody else, but the enemy, I can honestly say, it's just been a real effort to buffet me to not be able to attend prayer on Sundays and Tuesdays, and then connecting with our private prayer teams within the intercessors. So being at the hospital on a Wednesday night, I wanted to join our intercessory prayer Zoom call, and I did. Just because I wanted to be filled, I was missing the Lord's presence really being tangible and thick for me. And I just wanted to be a part of the team, just wanted to be around the body, wanted to be around my people. And I get real sentimental like that when I'm sick especially, but I really wanted to be in prayer. And so I had my headphones in for the majority of it, but there were some parts where I had to actively pray. And as I was praying, I noticed that my roommate in the other bed, even though there's a curtain between us, she got up and ran to the bathroom. I didn't think anything of it. And then after the phone call was over, she started talking to me, and she was like, hey, because her and I had made small talk, but we really didn't have conversation. She was like, hey, this whole day, my stomach, I have not felt anything in my stomach, and for the past 4 or 5 days, I've been backed up. And when you have sickle cell, that's a part of managing the disease. And she was like, but the doctors had basically told her that their next step was to give her not a suppository anymore, but an enema. But they had given her all kind of medicine, and nothing was working. And she was like, while you were praying, I felt led to tap in and just pray with you, and be praying on my own, but while you were praying. And she said, I felt the presence of God so strong, and God began to heal my body while you were praying with your prayer team. And she was like, my stomach started hurting out of nowhere, but it was a good thing, because things in my body that I had not been able to do, I started being able to do because you were in the room praying. And her and I continued to talk, and she basically was telling me, she's all these, I wrote down so many things about her, but she's a single mom. She has sickle cell. She has a good support system with her mother, but she was she felt somewhere in her faith that she really was seeking the Lord really heavily, and she was really going after her faith really hard in this season of her life, because she really needed God to move for her. And she was I continued, I asked her if I could continue to pray for her, because I noticed that in the middle of our conversation, I looked at her face and I was like, are you sure you okay? You're not feeling well? And she was like, no, my stomach is hurting again. And she was like, I'm really starting to hurt from sickle cell stuff. And so I asked her permission if I could just lay hands on her and pray. And so what I did was, I was texting the prayer team, my prayer team, with Deacon Donna as our leader, the whole time that this was happening, because I was like, y'all, please, if you guys could just continue to be praying for me to undergird the intercession, because I was telling them that this young lady was literally having an encounter with God in this hospital room. And I didn't want to bombard the team by texting any later at night, so I asked KD would he be on the phone and just pray. And so KD's on the phone, he's on mute, but he's praying in the background for me. And I'm laying hands and praying with this young lady, and I could feel the power of God hit my body so hard for her, and I could feel God moving in this girl's body. And I felt so led to lay my hands on her back and for her to just receive God. And it was so crazy because as I'm praying for her and as her and I are talking, she was basically like, she said she couldn't feel anything in her body at first, but then like next thing you know, by the time her nurses and stuff came in, she was reporting that she was completely out of pain, that her stomach was no longer hurting, and she even threw up and started like manifesting like her body, any sickness that her body was holding, it was just coming out of her body. And from that place, I began to minister to her and to ask her if she had ever heard of the Holy Spirit and had ever wanted to receive the Holy Spirit and to be changed even further, even deeper on her journey. So she has been baptized. She's connected to a good church, but she just got, basically she said she was in a backslidden space and she just really needed to know God was there. And so I just wanted to tell, I said I would never be one of those people that cry on the internet, but whatever. But just give this testimony that here I am sitting here right now. I have a monster migraine. I'm not feeling too hot because of sickle cell, but because I'm connected to the right people that love God. And even with not feeling good, I pressed past beyond what I was feeling and just got connected to the prayer line and start praying. The presence of God was in the room for healing. And it's okay if he was not there for me. This is like the second or third time that I have been in the hospital room and have laid hands on somebody to receive their healing while I'm the one sick. And I don't pretend to understand it. I don't pretend to know why God does what he does, why he moves how he moves. But this young lady's health turned around so quickly that she's discharged and go home. And so I just wanted to encourage you all by saying, we don't know what God, the fullness of what he's doing, but be available. And it's humbled the mess out of me because I have just been beating myself up lately for, I have an A student mentality when it comes to my relationship with God, meaning if I see my humanity a lot and if I feel like too much of my flesh has been in the way for too long, I get so upset with myself for failing. And you never know, just in humble simplicity and obedience, how there are so many things that God is doing that are so much bigger than you. And it's a good thing. So yeah, I connected with her further and we ended up talking about Pentecost and what Pentecost is. And she ended up watching The Prince of Egypt for the first time. And even though it isn't 100% theologically correct, I did talk to her about experiencing the Holy Spirit, being filled with his spirit and inviting him in. She's still kind of making her decision. There were some things that in prayer that began to manifest, and I did have to bind those spirits until there was a such time that she could be in a place to receive her full healing. We've connected on Instagram and we're texting back and forth, but she literally at a point sat in the bed and just could not believe that this moment was happening for her, that she was receiving healing in her body. She was like, I'm just sitting here trying to take it all in and I can't wait to tell my mom. And so I'm just still so overwhelmed by it all, but I just wanted to say how good God is.